Io Sky, is that match happening?
Io Sky, Stephanie Vaquer for the women's title.
The contract didn't get signed last night, or it got signed?
To be honest, I was not there last night. I haven't had a chance to watch the show yet because I was at. I did Kill Tony last night, so I was in.
Oh, wow.
What?
Yeah.
How was that?
Oh shit! I'm not supposed to say that.
No. I've seen.
Man, oh man, where do I begin? Triple fraudulence strikes again. We have obviously gone over so many times in the last 4 or 5 months where WWE has absolutely exposed themselves on multiple occasions. We've talked about what Rhea Ripley has exposed about this industry and this current company and this industry. The North Star, Dr. Libations, I respect you. I love you. I need you. And I need Triple H to start booking good shows. You get what I'm saying? Because right now he doesn't even show up to the shows, and we're going to talk about that in a second. But at the end of the day, this company is exposing itself week after week, day after day. Not only did WWE Unreal basically go behind the scenes and show all the secrets, which honestly, I think that show was stupid, but that's not even really a big issue. The biggest issue is that the shows week to week suck, and nobody backstage gives a crap that they suck. If the boss of the company, Triple Fraud, is not even showing up to work anymore, what the heck is he doing? What is he doing? Be honest with yourself. What is he doing, man? I'm so tired of this absolute garbage product and the fact that Triple H is sitting in here in these interviews spoiling events for the show, like we're going to get Cody Rhodes versus Drew McIntyre at WrestlePalooza, or we might get Cody versus Randy versus Drew for the WWE title at WrestlePalooza, but either way, Cody's coming back to fight at that show. We already knew this was going to happen, so it's not really a true spoiler, but the fact that it hasn't happened on TV yet and he's just talking about it openly, and laughing about not showing up, and he was at a Kill Tony comedy show or interview last night or a few nights ago instead of Raw. What are you doing, man? This is a joke. This guy on constant occasions doesn't even show up, man. So let's just go ahead and get into the video. The moral of the story is this. Triple H basically exposed himself in this interview with Tyrese Halliburton and Patrick McAfee. I'm going to start calling him Patrick McAfee. Patrick McAfee's show on ESPN. Triple H was on there basically doing a segment on his show. And Triple H revealed the fact that after Tyrese Halliburton, like I played at the beginning of the clip, asked if Io Sky and Stephanie Vaquer at their contract signing on Raw, which again, obviously it happened 2 nights ago. This interview was taking place yesterday, so it was after Raw. Triple H says he didn't even watch the episode yet because he was too busy doing a Kill Tony podcast interview or whatever the heck, comedy show, whatever the heck they do with Kill Tony, man. Who the heck is Kill Tony? You know what I'm saying? Kill Raw. That's what this guy's doing with his booking. You get what I mean? So Triple H revealed that he doesn't even keep up with the show because he was not there. This is probably the 3rd or 4th time I've caught and talked about in videos how Triple H within the last month alone has missed at least 3 or 4 SmackDown/Raws. It's as simple as that. I exposed the one where he wasn't backstage in Gorilla a few weeks ago on Raw, so he missed that. He obviously missed the Raw a couple days ago. He missed the SmackDown a few weeks ago, and then you had that Greece trip where the photos with him and his wife Stephanie McMahon, you know what I'm saying? They went out on the Greece trip wherever they were at, in the cruise or the yacht, whatever, and they weren't even on the shows. So this is multiple times where he hasn't showed up. You also have when he took a visit to the White House on SummerSlam weekend instead of booking a show. That's what you get from Triple H. He's not even showing up. Why would I need Triple H, who can't even book a wrestling TV show in the White House, talking about laws for the country? Can you please explain what significance is this? What is he doing? You know what I'm saying? It makes no sense. He doesn't show up to work. And you have to ask yourself yet again, why in the world is he not showing up? Who's more busy, Vince McMahon or Triple H right now? Vince McMahon, who I think is a billionaire at this point, obviously has multiple businesses and obviously built wrestling to the industry that it has gone to today. And that dude was there basically week in, week out. Week in, week out. Triple H has missed 4 Raws and SmackDowns in the last 4 weeks alone. What is the excuse for this, man? It sets a terrible precedent. This is exactly why you have people like Dr. Libations, who's free to win championships and wrestle 10 title defenses in nearly 400 days. This is why Gunther wrestled 6 or 7 title defenses in 300 dang near days by the time he lost to Jey Uso at WrestleMania. This is why Rhea Ripley, who's one of the top, if not the top star in all of women's wrestling in the entire industry, you get what I mean? And she does absolutely nothing on a week-to-week basis on Raw. And I bet you that at Crown Jewel in Perth, Australia, or whatever the heck they're doing it this year in Australia, they're going to have Rhea Ripley do a world title match so she can take back a title that she never lost, even though she never wrestles. How about that? You know what I mean? It's absolutely embarrassing. Tiffany Stratton, the WWE Women's Champion, you probably forgot she was even champ because she's barely featured and barely does anything. She's had one of the most uneventful championship reigns ever, and yet she's held the title for dang near 10 months. No one does anything anymore. Roman Reigns is taking a billion breaks because he's filming movies and he's doing this and he's got his part-time schedule. Dirty Dom. Dirty Dom. We are bots. You know what I'm saying? Dirty Dom is taking a 5-month hiatus. He wins the Intercontinental Championship. He's maybe wrestled 4 or 5 televised matches in singles competition. What is that? What is that? The tag teams are non-existent. And on top of all of this, Shawn Michaels is by far a better booker than Triple H. And I might have to start reviewing NXT shows because stuff actually happens. NXT is better than the main roster week to week because they actually utilize the talent correctly. They have consistent stories and they have good segments from time to time, much more often than the main roster has good segments on Raw or SmackDown. In the in-ring quality, people like Javon Evans have put on better TV matches than any TV match we've seen in the last year on WWE television, on the main roster, man. It's embarrassing at this point, bro. You're telling me that Vince McMahon, the guy who built this industry to what it was, grinded week in, week out for decades, and he showed up week in, week out, but Triple H gets a pass to not show up 4 times in the span of 5 weeks? Are you serious right now? And this is the company that's telling you about record gates? It's not record gates. As the viewership, the ratings, the sales, the quality of the company all go backwards or going downwards, okay? This company is on a downward slide. You think that people are going to be content spending $30+ a month for garbage PLEs on ESPN? Are you out of your mind, bro? Be real with yourself, man. We have to start calling this out the way that we see it because this is stupid. I talked about it before. After a month or 2 of this ESPN deal, they're going to get record low PLE viewership. It's already going down. I showed you the graph. The PLE viewership is already going down internationally. Now you factor in that the international, viewers are still going to be watching on Netflix. Those views are going to go down. And obviously the US views are now going to go down because no one wants to pay $30 to watch these shows. That's it. It's as simple as that. Think about all the PLEs that we've gotten this year. You tell me which PLE was worth spending $30+ on. I'll wait. I'll literally sit here and wait for someone to please tell me what PLE this year was worth $30 of your money. At the end of the year, you do 12 times 30. You're going to be sitting there spending over $360 on WWE content PLEs a year. 4 or 5 match card PLEs that give you absolutely nothing but repetitive, garbage, lazy, creative nonsense. There is no creative. You get me? You're telling me that $360. Right now we're in September, right? So let's do 9 times 30. Over $270 so far this year. Imagine if you had spent that for the PLEs. Do you think that $270 has been worth it to get the garbage that we've gotten this year so far? Do you think it's worth it, man? Ask yourself these questions and think about this logically. We have to call this out because if we don't, no one's going to say anything about this nonsense. This is ridiculous. What kind of boss doesn't show up to work and then has the nerve after Mania 40 to say if you don't like it, then F off? Are you out of your... What are we watching, man? This is a joke. This company is ran as a mess. The chief content officer isn't showing up on shows. The shows end the same way every single week. Why do you think this is? Why do you think that every single Raw ends the same? Every SmackDown has the same lazy opening and closing segments. They walk in with their coffee or their libations and smile at the camera for a TikTok reel or an IG reel. It's stupid at this point, man. Every opening and closing of the shows are the same. The segments are the same. They're lazy. There's barely any star power unless Roman or Cena's on the show. It's the same repetitive segments. Nothing is creative. They rely on nostalgia because Triple H can't build new stars, so all the top draws are all at least 40 years old or older at this point. They brought AJ Lee back after a decade. They brought Punk back after a decade. The Rock was returning, doing the final boss thing leading up to Mania. You know what I'm saying? You have Cody Rhodes who's in his early 40s. Roman Reigns is over 40. You get what I mean? The list goes on and on. Randall Orton. The list goes on and on. John Cena's on his way out. Brock Lesnar's back. All of these people are older draws who are legends or icons of the industry. Where are the new up-and-coming stars? You're pushing Braun Breaker. He can't even cut a live mic promo to save his life. Come on, man. We have to, what is happening with this company at this point, bro? Every single week, things are getting worse and worse and worse. It's embarrassing, bro. And now I have to talk about something else. This is the last thing I'm going to discuss is this little clip from the interview where Triple H basically reveals that they rush, the content to fit dates and to fit timelines and to sell tickets, even though they still can't sell tickets. That's why the ticket sales are in decline. But still, let me just play this clip.
But we moved quick on this whole thing. The whole thing came together very, very quickly. ESPN asked for the date. They wanted a mega event. We said yes. We just had to pick a name and go. So know.
How difficult is it to put something together that quickly when you know, like, hey, we might have storylines in place, but we kind of need to shift things to make sure that this goes off as well as possible?
It takes some work, right? You have the way the schedule is laid out. You have all your long-term stuff laid out in a certain manner, and then all of a sudden you've got something in the middle there. Instead of 6 weeks to the next thing, it's 3 weeks. So you got to draw everything out and shift some stuff around. But that's, it's funny when stuff like that happens. People say, "Oh man, it's just another shift or something." We do it every week. Injured, so sometimes you see things go away, or there's moments where stuff people aren't sure why. Like, I expected that to happen here, but it didn't. It got pushed to there. There's usually reasons why. So that sort of turning on a dime is just kind of what we do. You can't do this and not be that way.
You look at that and you wonder why before every single PLE it feels like storylines are rushed. They have no story, really. There's no reason for things happening. Nothing makes any sense. The endings are lazy. It's because they're booking monotonous and garbage shows with a couple moments here and there with their stars in order to build you for the next PLE that, again, will have no reasoning, no creative, and it will likely end up being mid or awful at best. This is your product. This is the product that people are saying, let Papa H cook. You guys remember last year when everyone was saying, let Papa H cook after they had like a couple down months or whatever, and everyone was like, yeah, man, let Papa H cook. And I told you guys, this guy is not going to cook. He's not good at his job. The only thing that has happened in the Triple H run that he did is Vince McMahon, obviously in his last like 5-6 years, was not good. He had moments of great things, don't get me wrong, but overall, he didn't have a great performance. Let's just be honest about it. He was bad in many parts. However, Triple H took the reins and you got that new boost of energy and everyone was excited about the company again. And, Triple H came in and he made some really creative moves and, the shows week to week were getting a little bit better than they were before. And that was nice. Then you had Mania 39. I thought Mania 39 was awesome. You know what I'm saying? They were able to keep most of the momentum throughout the rest of the year. And then 2024 came along in the opening 4 months of 2024 were the most successful 4 months probably WWE has had in probably a decade at this point. Okay. And then after that, everyone was like, man, Triple H is bringing this thing the Paul Levesque era, the game. This dude came out there after WrestleMania 40, which again, the only reason that show was absolutely great is because of the main events, both nights being amazing. The Rock and Roman and, even Dr. Libations did a solid job of building the feud and building the main event for Mania 40 and building that hype. And the ancillary feuds around that were all pretty decent across the show. And the shows, obviously, both nights ended up being very good and very memorable. And because of that, everyone thought it was back. But most of that is because of your top guys like Roman having his 4-year reign coming to an end, The Rock providing a big jolt, having Undertaker, Cena show up. This is how this show became memorable. It doesn't have as much as you think it has to do with Triple H. It's as simple as that, man. And so we move on from that, and you saw what happened when The Rock and Roman took their break and Cena left until this year. And you saw the garbage that you got. And then Mania 41 with Triple H is fully his own doing. No Rock, no 4-year championship reign of storytelling to rely on. And look at the Mania 41 you got this year. It was garbage. This is the truth about Triple H. Even SummerSlam this year was bad. People call it mid. I'm going to just let them get away with calling it mid. The show was bad. But anyways, we'll just let them call it mid. How can you have a bad biggest show of the year with Mania 41 being awful and the second biggest show of the year, SummerSlam, being mediocre at best, with most of it being absolute garbage? This is the guy that is running this company. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's not even showing up for work consistently. And you mean to tell me that this company is going to come back? It's going to have a run. Triple H is going to cook. It is over. We've seen it. We've heard it. I've predicted this. I've foretold this, and it's come to pass. If I tell you that grass is going to turn to cheese, go find some crackers because your boy C-Jax is not lying. Now, with that being said, I've said everything that I need to say if I'm being honest with you. What else is there even that needs to even be discussed at this point? We're going to continue to get garbage. We're going to continue to get a bad product, and we will continue to watch this company fall apart at the seams, be a complete mess. The viewership, the ratings, the intrigue, the ticket sales, the merch sales will all continue to go down, and WWE will continue to give us the garbage product that they consistently give, and I will be there at every single corner to call out their garbage and call out Triple Fraudulence's nonsense whenever I can. Thank you guys for watching. Have a phenomenal day. Peace out and enjoy the ride that C-Jax is taking you on. One love.